Trains. For some reason, I really feel like I hate trains. And it wasn't just because I was back from a long day of welding train cars and lifting heavy grinders. God says I hate trains. And heavy labor. Especially working for any plane that I consider affiliating with slavers anything other than normally reprehensible. No matter the benefits. Nevertheless, I had little in the way of choices. I was beginning to grasp an understanding of what Mom had once told me. I was to provide a home for myself and my full, then I had to work, even if the plane wasn't always the most honest. Still, I was always glad for the end of the day. I levitated my saddlebags down onto a wooden workbench beside the door as I entered the converted train car that was our makeshift home. It was an odd reminder of where I'd once spent my time with my mom, yet that memory felt like a lifetime ago. I was just 18 years old and I already had a home, a job. Some of my responsibilities my younger self would have probably disowned me if she knew this was her future. Even so, as good as life went in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, it wasn't that bad. I also wasn't alone. Teal! I called out. There was nothing ahead but benches, the radio, and stairs of the train car stacked above. I sighed. Teal, Blitz, I swear you better get out of here. I grumbled to myself as I trotted forward, limbs aching. I reached the bottom of the stairs before the sound of footsteps met my ears and I paused, eyes narrowing. You know what happens to clothes that don't do as they're told, don't you? I mused. There was another skirting of footsteps before all of a sudden a greenish blur assaulted me from atop a shelf to the left. Rah! Teal cried before landing atop my back, wings buzzing. I let myself go limp, falling to the floor as if slain as the Pegasus let out a fit of giggles. Yeah, they got gobbled up by dragons. He laughed, battling with his hooves as he created a monstrous impersonation. I laughed, rolling as he assaulted my stomach. Yeah, and then the worst dragon of them all. I wrapped him in my forehooves and pretended to gobble him up, laughing all the while. Teal screamed playfully, his wings buzzing as he fought to escape. No, I'm the worst, he countered, darting back as I released him. I slashed back onto my front and stood, eyes locked on the coal as he continued to prowl like a draconic creature. Yeah, but it's in my name, I added, pulling a hoof to my chest. Teal paused, thinking for a moment before his face scrunched. Nah, you always get used that one. You get a name like Dragonfire and I get my stupid name. He grumbled, crossing his forehooves before falling back on his haunches. He gave another light chuckle, trying by him. Your name's not stupid, I assured, but he just shook his head. No way, my name's boring. His wings buzzed as he hovered up to the workbench beside me, bringing us to eye level. Well, you've got your wings and all I got is a cool name and a dumb horn. I tapped the protrusion in question. I can't fly, I added, pushing to the buzzing limbs at sides. He sighed, giving them another flip. Yeah, I know. All the other folks think they're really cool. The dragons have wings. I want to be a dragon, he screamed proudly. I raised a hoof to his muzzle, shushing him. He shied away slightly. My smile coaxed him back. Hey, there's no way finding a real dragon. They're no as cute as you are, I told him before Doc could manifest into any greater. Hey, I'm not cute. Okay, so his shyness was definitely short-lived too. My eyes narrowed. Yes, you are. You're adorable, I teased. No fair, Mom. The coal frowned, sticking his tongue out at me before falling back on his rump. I turned back to the table, opened which was a dismantled energy rifle and an equally disassembled zap-zap. I sighed as I saw the vast arrangement of parts, gems, and a copy of applied gemstones. Guess you had given me a good price on it all. Yet all I saw now was wasted caps. Damn it, Dragonfire. If you survive this long, you can build a gun. I needed a new one anyway. My mind chastitated, reminding me that I had been taking care of Zap for years. Regardless, I overplayed and levitated out the notes I had been making on this particular project. Far stronger modification to the laser rifle, Yeah, reading that one again? Teal asked, pointing a hoof at the tattered sheet of paper. I can't even understand all your scribbles. I paused. Looking back at the Pegasus sat atop the leftmost workbench, eyes continually glancing at the dismantled weaponry. That's because you're still needing to learn and read, silly. I responded, even if I knew I was procrastinating. Even so, after a hard day of work, I was in the mood for doing even more. In fact, if it weren't for Teal, I wouldn't even be back here. I'd be getting drunk over at a Turnpike Tavern or something. With that thought partaking in one of my favorite vices, I moved away. I walked slow. How long can I really keep this life up? Say, where's Candy? I asked, and Teal shrugged. She left a few hours ago. Somebody got shut up real fast, so she's over there to the clinic. She just said she'd be back later, he explained, hovering up from the desk and to my side. Alright, you two gonna make me sit down here while you have another party upstairs? I froze by the stairs, blushing hard and rounding on the Teal coat. My cheeks and ears burned as I was incredibly glad he was not old enough to understand why. Teal! That's for big ponies, and... I faltered as he frowned, then I swallowed. Shouting wasn't my thing. I didn't shout. I was a good mom, right? Mind continuing to race as Teal looked at me with confusion. I sighed, nudging his drooped chin with forehead. I'm sorry, it's just... I faltered once more. I was a good mom, right? I'd done her proud. Saved him the pain? Teal looked up at me, eyes shimmering and teary. I just don't like being left out. I feel so different for everyone. He buzzed his wings, using a tone that leached the truth from me faster than any kind of chem. I nodded and shrugged. Ponies would not survive if everyone was the same. We're all these differences. There's no shame in being special, I stated. I like to think that was really true. Even if I was different, mainly due to my pyrotechnic magic, but nobody else could wield as much as I could without a torch. He was a Pegasus, one of the greatest rarities in the wasteland. Yet, truth, it only made me worry about him even more. Suddenly there was a loud clatter and the door swung open as a white earth pony mare with candy-colored mane trotted in. Her saddlebags hung lazily over her back as did her yellow uniform, not to mention the weary bags under her eyes. You can warn me before dragging my flank there on such short notice, Kenny grumbled, showing off her saddlebags beside my own. But when she looked up, her expression lightened. Oh hey Dragonfire, good day over at the train yard? Glanced down at Teal annoyingly. Now he had a card to play against me any time he wished. Yeah, about as good as a day there can be, I replied, trying over. Turning a smile as she approached before wrapping her hose around me with a hug. Well, it's a good thing I'm here to give you a perception, she purred. Yeah, but cool thing to be in bed first, I retorted, as the eyes meeting. She gave a foolish giggle before releasing me. Yeah, but in the meantime, she bumped my rump with hers. Ew, Philly goodies, don't give me your Philly goodies, Teal blurted, jumping in the air with a buzz. Both of us froze. Wide eyes locked shamefully on the coal as we blushed heavily. He beat his wings, spitting out his tongue in disgust. I looked at her. She to me as we both shook our heads and finally regarded the young girl. Well, at least there's no chance of us getting another, I mused quietly. Kenny smiled. The way you go, I won't be so sure. Not to mention there's some pretty good-looking stallions coming in to see me these days. Oh, what I would not give for a handsome Pegasus fella, she added with an equally whimsical grin. I cocked an eyebrow. Is that so? Well, looks like I'll just have to up my game. The pair of us laughed as Teal just frowned in confusion. Consciousness stirred in the darkness as my senses came back to me less than smoothly. First came the light against my closed eyes, then the warmness of a bed, and finally all the horrid pains, aches, and illnesses that revolved around the life in the wasteland. My eyes flashed open, glimpsing the dull metal of the ceiling. Faint lights flickered behind the slowly rotating blades of ceiling fan. Buzzing of a radio met my ears as they twitched, so as a faint beeping sound. Looking over myself, I saw a warm sheet. Next to my right, I saw a scrap wall on the bed. Archer slept soundly under the covers, a whole host of medical equipment accompanying her. Above the sleeping mirror, a yellow glass window allowed the dearly light to bleed into the room. Well, at least the storm had stopped, I thought as I looked to my left. There was a medical drip at my bedside too, as well as a rusty table supporting several doses of right-away, medical equipment. I tried to decide with more needles. I really just wanted to kick them away, throw the sheet off and see what way I'd been cut open this time. My body lacked the strength to move me more than a few inches. All I could think was that if Archer here was here and she was alive, it must be at least somewhere safe. One thing was for sure, this was no pre-war lab. Only one closed door allowed access to the shabby room, flanked on either side by several lockers. None of those things really struck me as sinister, yet none of that matters as I saw somebody sleeping with their head on my bedside. Terry must have been getting sick of sitting around while I recovered from beating myself up. Nevertheless, as I saw her chest rise and fall with her steady breath, I felt a swell of relief. I'd saved her. The ponies on the train. Suddenly my mind raced and the memories of what had happened came flooding back. Then came the realization that I knew should have been instantaneous. I had to make sure every pony we had Crimson Springs. On the string I could muster, I kicked off the sheets. But once again, the sight presented me with nothing more but my bruised white coat. Wait, something was off. Was this just me, to look a little pudgier than usual? No time to think about how I may have let myself go, however, so I tried to sit up, only for muscles to spasm and utterly fail me. I paused, leaning back against the pillow as I shook all my hooves in turn. They were stiff, trembling and sour. I did not feel broken. The same could not be said about my aching gut or throbbing headache, but just reminds my imminent demise. My mind insisted that I should be dead already. After the trick I'd pulled in Crimson Springs, I was hard-pressed to disagree. Nevertheless, I'd saved Cherry, Ogre, and assumingly the others. I looked at the mare sleeping on the side of my bed, and many things suddenly revolved in my head. Why was she here? Why was I here? Where was here? I raised her up to her head, placing on top of her dark pink red mane. She looked so peaceful, so innocent. The sight of the money mirror standing firm in the rain, a golden rifle aimed at deadly griffins came to mind. I remembered that all along. That had been the good pony, not a merciless killer or desperate survivor. I knew that for sure because those griffins had not been good by a long stretch. You know what group they worked for? Transcendence, the monstrous rebel ponies. I felt a little relief that Vertigo had died at the hands of one of their lesser creations before being handed to the likes of Carnage, even if I wished I could strangle him myself. At that, my suddenly clicked. I firmly realized that without him, I was back at square one. Seriously, Wasteland, he was my only ticket to figuring this mess out, I mentally screamed. A little envious I never could see that handsome face again either. Shut up, brain. Staring up at the ceiling, as the fan blades slowly rotated, I finally noticed one last thing. My pet box display was gone. Sure enough, as I placed my left hoof on the mattress, I saw that arcane device was no longer attached to my foreleg. I felt swell 2 parts spite, 1 part dread at the revelation, wincing as I felt a painful jab in my gut. I fucking hate waking up and not knowing what's going on, I mentally grumbled. Ah, come on, it's not like you're not used to it, my retorted as I growled through the gritted teeth. Yeah, with my body refusing to cooperate properly, I could only stuff my head into the my pillow. After several moments of sulking, I finally sighed, then brushed the forelimb through Cherry's mane again. She was about the only comfort I had. I felt as if I'd seized defeat from the jaws of victory. Then there's nothing left to do but keep running and hope those ponies don't catch you, my mind added. I sighed, running my left hoof across my gurgling stomach gently. Aching muscles gave a nipping cramp and I shifted, ignoring it. Looking back at Cherry, I finally made the decision to end what appeared to be the first decent sleep she's achieved in days. To me, Mary gave a reluctant moan.
No. Says no. I don't want to go today.
She moaned to herself before lifting a lazy hoof to my own. Then she stopped. Then grasping mine as her eyes opened, she looked up slowly.
Dragonfire?
What else were you expecting? I asked with a slight smile. Cherry's eyes grew wider as she raised her head.
You pulled through? Oh, thank Luna.
For some reason that didn't sound so good. I paused, a smile fading as I lowered my forehoof. Yeah, I'm fine. How about you? Are you okay? I felt like I was nearly dead, so I could worry about my well-being later. She leaned back onto a stool she might have been sitting on before falling asleep.
I'm fine. A bit shaken, but fine. A bit better with a rifle too, I'd say.
She stated the last part with a faint smile, her relief still holding most of her expression. I leaned back against the pillow, forehoofs crossing over my midsection. Cherry watched me close as I really tried to not look at the bandaged stump on her ear as it twitched.
And what about you? Sky said it would be a miracle if you woke up, so how do you feel?
She asked skeptically. Her question, and how it was so cautiously voiced, once again self-alarmed in my head. I took a deep breath, her forehead rubbing nervously against my aching stomach. I'm okay, but please just tell me what happened. Cherry did not look too fond of the fact I was just throwing my well-being out the window, and that only made me feel a little more guilty. But my mind was demanding information I only trusted her to give.
Sky and I managed to get at least 20 of the slaves on the train. Cliff and Orc are fine too, but some ponies.
She trailed off. Breath caught my throat. Death? It was just another normal thing in the wasteland. It had not been what I was expecting, however. She was a good pony. She could have saved them. This is a joyous wasteland Dragonfire, mine insisted, reminding me about the irrationality, illogical entity. Cherry sniffed, taking a deep breath, glanced down, away from her eyes.
The rest won't come. Kids saying the screams of their rage would get them if they ran. Going about some kind of paradise?
She meant before I could respond. Paradise? Mr. Green's last words flashed in my mind. I had no doubt who was filling every pony's head with that religious idea. But even hopeless slaves? Maybe they just overheard? Maybe the rage riled their minds too? I sighed, placing a hoof on her shoulder. You saved as many as you could. You were the better pony, I assured her kindly. Be kind. I recalled the statuette that I assumed my companion was still carrying in her saddlebags. She gave a half-hearted sigh, rubbing a hoof over her face before nodding.
You know wasteland will make it so easy. Just hoped I could have done more.
She stated before looking back at me. No, Wasteland certainly wouldn't. That push entity whispered into my mind. I simply suppressed that sigh. Are they all safe now? I asked in an attempt to steer her mind towards the good she achieved. She nodded.
By the time the train stopped, we lost the griffins in the storm. A bucket phoned you at the side of the track led us here. Said you knew him.
She explained, and I felt my mind come to a sudden stop. Vertigo was alive? He had been shot and fallen off a speeding train. How in a crash could any pony survive that? I exclaimed as much.
All he said was that you helped him in Crimson Springs, and I think he may have taken your pip back.
Cherry informed me as I felt the urge to face Hoof. So he was alive, and he'd gotten exactly what he wanted. So much for trust.
But how did you get off the train?
Cherry continued, drawing my attention back. I opened my muzzle to answer, but felt the words die in my throat. I have no idea. I think somebody flew me off. Her face appeared as confused as I felt, but we both knew at least some part of it must be true or I'd be dead. Vertigo. Where is he now? I asked, turning to my pit-bug depraved leg. Cherry seemed slightly amused by that. In spite of everything, her smile was a welcome sight as she answered.
I don't know. said he'd come by with flowers when he woke up. He seems like a good stallion.
She waved her hoof about in the air slowly. Did he happen to mention why he needed my pet buck? I grumbled.
Not exactly. He just said that he needed it. At the time I was kinda afraid he'd just leave us all to die on the dragster if I didn't let him take it.
She admitted. Putting the safety of everybody before my own interests? It was good to see that her heart was still in the right place, even if it was unsure as to whether I'd been so trusting in her position.
He also said something about taking you out for dinner, but there were
no options. I finished for her and she nodded. That's certainly sounded like vertigo. Goddesses. That buck was either tougher than an alicorn or the luckiest pony in the whole damn wasteland. Regardless, I was not about to let him escape me any longer. I needed answers, and he was going to take me to them. My aching body, it seemed to have different ideas as I tried to get up from the bed. My strength failed me. It almost felt like jelly. My stomach rolled as if some pony were kicking it around like a ball. My head felt about the same. Was somebody playing drums in there or something? Hey, you better not try to get up. I'll sedate your sorry butt in a second again if you are. The sound of this guy's firm voice made me more tense. Then I remembered that if anybody was going to try and kill me right now, it was her. I slipped back into the bed. Cherry's was catching me before I could fall back too far. The moment she had done what she'd done, however, she pulled back, blushing hard. It would have been mind-bogglingly cute if Skylark had not marched up behind her, stern eyes fixed on me. Cherry's was gone and I slipped back down in the bed, my midsection churning. I tell you, you're lucky to be alive. But I don't think that would stop you doing something like that again. Showing their Christmas springs, stopping a damn train with your magic. You really are insane, she declared, pointing a clipboard at me with her magic. Not the first time I heard somebody tell me that. And it was not the first time I knew someone telling me that I was stupid was right. I said as much as she frowned, then sighed. Worst part is, I'm still glad you did it all. Even that whole creeping off thing, but he got us out of here and... She glanced over at Archer and her face softened. Saved the love of my life. So she's going to be okay? I asked. This guy offered me a solemn look. She will live. Maybe never walk straight again, but she'll live. She elaborated before I pressed on. How about Clip? Is he okay too? She rolled her eyes, then nodded. Yes, he's fine. A good healing potion fixed his legs. He's almost up and about ready. I felt a wave of relief wash through me, and saw the side of her sharp eyes again ungulped. You, on the other hoof, I have no idea what really happened to you. Not even my father can figure it out. She jabbed the clipboard at me again. I glanced at Cherry shamefully, really feeling the weight of the fact. I came so close to leaving the pink mare with no pony while trying to do what was right. It had been a stupid plan from the start. Yet I knew I had at least partially done it for her. I didn't seem to accuse the pink mare, however. You guys were more focused on me, as if I were a speculative for more than my looks. Dragonfire, she had a mare friend, damn it. Cherry leaned back on her stool as Sky trotted over and looked to the set of screens behind her, tapping on them as her face crunched into a whole manner of puzzled expressions. Then she glanced at Cherry with a pair of unchanged, unsure looks. What is it? Do you know something? I asked, looking from mare to mare. Sky placed her clipboard down on the medical table, her eyes fixed on the screens. I know you should really be dead, that's one thing, she stated, tapping one of the screens. I sighed, my heels flopping down on my sides. Great, they were keeping things from me. You at least gonna tell me when I can stand up? I asked, wobbling my limp legs. Sky glanced at me with a disapproving glare. I'd say about a day or two before you can walk properly. Father thinks a little longer, but that's probably just because he wants to prove me wrong, she confessed. And which one of you is usually the right one? I pressed and she frowned. That one who saved your sorry plot. Then again, he helped me, so I can't really say that.
Ugh. The point is you messed yourself up, Dragonfire. She berated, before taking deep breaths. So you're saying I'm stuck here for 2 whole days? That's great. You're at least going to tell me what I did to fuck myself up so bad then? I asked, hitting my hooves on the bed as hard as I could. Which was to say, not very hard. An exhaustion mostly. You were drained when I patched you up for the first time when the wreck on this huge show was almost suicidal. Plus, don't even think about using magic for a while. You completely burned it out. She explained, pointing at the reading on the screen. Then my horn. I raised a hoof to the spire atop my forehead, feeling an ache as I tapped it. Magical burnout? This wasn't a first for me. Then again, I'd never tried to do something like stop a train car before. Never mind 3. You also have several pieces of shrapnel dangerously close to some major arteries, major bruising. Your shoulder was half severed, and then there was radiation poisoning. She face hoofed. Goddesses, you really would have been dead if we hadn't got you here. She concluded as if taking a mental checklist. I glanced at the vast amounts of right-of-way on the medical trolley. Yet I'd had radiation poisoning before and I couldn't feel anything. Usually I'd be stuck on the mattress, puking and shitting my guts out by now. How long was I off? I asked. My eyes narrowing. She once again glanced at Cherry. It's been about 3 days, the pink mare informed me, rubbing for my forehoofs. A stressful 3 days, that is. Between you and Orc and the slaves, half my family's been here. Thanks to Celestia for flair, she stated, glancing at her sleeping mare friend. Are all your sisters doctors? I asked, but she shook her head. Mostly just myself and Wing Flare. Sidewinder. My only brother ran off a long time ago. My younger sister, Heartstroke, was more focused on helping father take over the town than medical training. The twins help when they can, she informed me. Taking over the town? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Skylar's head drooped as she responded. Yep. Turns out a lot's happening when that's gone. Sunspot. Town's previous mayor apparently died in the radio attack. I've been trying to take her place since then. Looks like it's going to be pear pudding, though. Not that my father's happy about it. I thought you said they're still trying. The position's not been taken yet. Cherry interjected. Sky shrugged. Folks don't take kindly to someone who's just rushing in the position of somebody who just died. They're buying their time to look respectful. So, Purple will get what he wants. That slob always does. She retorted, spraying out the latter part with disgust. Still, you're on your deathbed and you're asking me about my family? Yeah, we have a big influence here. You sure you don't have bigger things to worry about? Guy asked, her firm demeanor snapping back. Recoiled, raising my hooves. Okay, I was just curious. I just assumed that one of your sisters must have been really good with radiation poisoning. I know that much. It should have killed me, like you said. I demanded, really hoping that I didn't frustrate her even more. Instead, Sky almost seemed to choke on her words. Yeah, about that. I should be killing you right now, but... My eyes narrowed more. I had a really bad feeling about this. Then again, I really should have a bad feeling about almost everything in my life right now. Well, I pressed. And she looked back to the screen. Then at Cherry. Well, that's the problem. The radiation didn't seem to mutate or even affect any of your cells. It was just absorbed, she said, somewhat amazed. I paused, my expression falling as cockeyed as my head. Absorbed? White cells could harmlessly absorb radiation? Since when? I asked much, but both mirrors just exchanged glances again. Cherry merely seemed timid, her ear and bandaged thumb falling back. Skylark seemed more worried. That didn't bode well with me at all. Well, it wasn't exactly that your body did away with the radiation. In fact, if this weren't the case, then you'd both most certainly be dead. I looked at her questioningly. Both of us? She merely looked back at the screens. I tested your blood and found increasing levels of gonadotropins, asteroid sulfate. Father found some other stuff too. Seems like nothing we'd ever seen. Okay, those were science words I didn't understand. I saw Sherry grip my forehoof tightly. You absorbed all the radiation, she informed me clearly. That's good, right? But who else are you talking about? I looked right at Cherry. You? The pink mirror froze at my response. Looking a little pale under the bright color, she strengthened her grip on my hoof before she finally smiled. Dragonfire. She's not talking about me. She stammered weakly. The confusion only grew as I looked back at Sky. Yet she too just had the same happy kind of look. My mind was turning and turning, attempting to find every possible explanation as I tried to put this whole mess together. Skylar gave a light-hearted chuckle. You know, with your track record, this doesn't quite surprise me, but congratulations, Dragonfire. You're pregnant. Oh, hi, Darkness. Didn't expect to see you again so soon.